Shalom everybody, this is student of YHWH, and I'm just back at it with another quick video. And I just want to show and prove that Esau did not eat red meat. Again, Esau did not eat red meat. A lot of Hebrew Israelite congregation and camps, not all, but a lot of them do teach that Esau ate undercooked red meat. Because when you go to a restaurant today and you order a steak, they ask you if you would like that steak well done, medium rare, or rare. So what they do is, these Hebrew Israelites, not all of them but some, they go on Google, they go on YouTube, and they see that the so-called white race, they like their food rare. Then they go into the scriptures, into the Bible, and they try to teach that Esau is the so-called white race, because the Bible talks about Esau selling his birthright to Jacob for some red meat. So they say, you see that, brother? They like their food red. They like their food rare. And when you go into the Bible, Esau sold his birthright for some rare meat. Well, this is false. The scriptures does not teach that. The words of the Most High does not teach that Esau ate red meat. So we're going to pick this off at Hebrews chapter 12, and we're going to read verse 16. Again, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. And what I'm first going to do, I'm going to read from the King James Version Bible. And also I'm going to read from the Scriptures translation. Not sure if you can see that, but it's by the ISR. I got a video I uploaded not too long ago on my channel about this translation. And it's a really good translation, so y'all should definitely check that out there. So again, this is Hebrews chapter 12 verse 16 from the King James Version Bible, and let's read it. It says, "Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, for one morsel of meat sold his birthright." So they take you here and they'll say, you see that? For one morsel of meat, he sold his birthright. So now, let's go to Genesis chapter 25. And let's prove that Esau sold his birthright for meat, like we just read. But it was red meat. It was red meat. It was a rare meat, undercooked meat. So this is what they say. So let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 25. And we're going to start off at Genesis 25. And we're going to read verse 30. So this is what they say. They take it to Hebrews chapter 12 verse 16 and say, you see that? Esau ate meat. Then they say in Genesis 25, it was red meat. Now when you look at it, the so-called white race today, they're the only people who like their food rare or red or undercooked. That's how they like their fleshly meat, undercooked. So let's read Genesis chapter 25, and we're going to read verse 30. Actually, let's start at verse 29. It says, "And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint." Verse 30. "And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint." Therefore was his name called Edom. So he said, so they'll say, you see that, brother? Esau ate red meat. I just showed you Hebrews chapter 12. It says meat. Now I showed you Genesis chapter 25 verse 30. It says red pottage. That's what he sold his birthright for, red pottage, some red meat. Well, brothers and sisters out there, That's how you twist scripture. That's how you twist scripture right there. These brothers are twisting scripture. Let's go back to Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. And now let's get the proper understanding. So we're going to go back to Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. And let's read it again. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Ěsaw, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Well, as you all know out there, the New Testament was not written in English. The New Testament was written in Greek. So, when you go into your concordance, when you go into your ESAU, and you look up that word meat, and let me show y'all out there. When you go into that word meat, it is not talking about fleshly meat. That's what it's not talking about. And I'm going to show y'all. When you see that word meat in the scriptures, it's not always talking about fleshly meat. That word meat there means food. Again, that word meat there means food. It's the Greek word 1035, and I'm going to read it. It says eating. Then it says by extension food. That's what that word meat means. It means food. I'm not sure if y'all can see that. The Greek word 1035. That word there means food. That word means food. It does not always mean flesh. It does not always mean cow or lamb. That word there means food. And let's prove that even more. I'm going to go to my scriptures translation. That's why it's good to read different translations, to try to get the proper understanding on certain topics and on certain things, also on certain words. So let's go to Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. Again, and this is in the scriptures translation. It says, lest there be anyone who whores or profane one like Ěsaw, who for a single meal sold his birthright. So even in the scriptures translation, it talks about Ěsaw selling his birthright for a meal or food. So what food or what meal did Ěsaw sell his birthright for? That would be the question. What food did Ěsaw sell his birthright for? Let's go to Genesis chapter 25 and let's read the story of Ěsaw selling his birthright to Jacob. And what food or what meal did Ěsaw sell his birthright for? Let's get it. Let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 25. Again, Genesis chapter 25. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read from the King James Version Bible again. Then I'm going to read from the Scriptures translation. So I'm going to read from Genesis chapter 25. And we're going to start at verse 29. Again. So Genesis chapter 25, verse 29. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Ěsaw came from the field, and he was faint. And Ěsaw said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Ěsaw. So Ěsaw said, feed me with that same red pottage. Brothers and sisters, do you know what pottage is? Let's look it up. When you go into that word pottage, In the dictionary, it means soup. Doesn't mean meat. That word pottage means soup. Check this out. I'm not sure if y'all can see that or not. That word pottage is soup. So now let's go back to Genesis chapter 25. And let's go back to verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, which we just look up that word pottage, which is soup. For I am faint, therefore was his name called Edom. Verse 31. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread. Here we go. This is what Esau sold his birthright for. Verse 34. It says, then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage, which is soup, of lentils. That's what Esau sold his birthright for. He didn't sell his birthright for some undercooked meat. He didn't sell his birthright for some rare steak or some undercooked steak or hamburger. He sold his birthright for bread and pottage of lentils, which is soup. Soup with lentils. What are lentils? Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Let's look up lentils. So we're going to look up lentils to see what lentils are.
I'm very concerned. Chairman Nunez recused himself because he actively misled the American people.
I'm about to show you. Here are red lentils. These are red lentils, brothers and sisters. Beans. Beans. That's what Esau sold his birthright for. For bread and soup with beans in it. Lentil beans. And check out something else. That's the true color of red. Like a brownish color. And that means something. Because Esau was not red as in what the Hebrew Israelites try to teach you. Like showing blood in their face. Esau was red as this. Red beans. With a red glow to it. Like a brown color. But that's another topic. So Esau sold his birthright for some bread and soup with lentils in it. And when you look up that word lentils in your dictionary, it will tell you it's beans. That's what lentils are. He didn't sell his birthright for undercooked meat. And if you say that, oh, you don't know what was in it, what type of things was in the soup, and fleshly meat could have been in that soup, you're adding to the word. You're adding to the word to try to approve and uphold your false doctrine. It clearly says that Esau sold his birthright for bread and pottage of lentils, which is soup with lentil beans in it. That's what he sold his birthright for. Now what I'm going to do, we're going to go back to Genesis chapter 25 and 29. I'm going to read from the Scriptures translation to prove even more that Esau did not eat red or undercooked rare meat. This is Genesis chapter 25, verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary. That is why his name was called Edom. You see that? So even in this translation, it says, please feed me with that same red stew. Soup. Let's go to verse 31. But Jacob said, sell me your birthright today. And Esau said, look, I am going to die, so why should I have birthright? Then Jacob said, swear to me today. And he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. Jacob then gave Esau bread and stew of lentils. Bread and stew of lentils. Not sure if y'all can see that or not. Aqoጵ then gave Esau bread and stew of lentils. That's the proper understanding. Esau did not eat undercooked or rare meat. That is a false lie, and they're twisting scriptures. And with that being said, I hope everybody got edified out there. Please subscribe and like my channel and share it. More videos in the Most High's will in the near future. Shalom.